Hey everybody, I'm here talking to my good friend Sean Murray about his organization, Vet on the Path. Vet on the Path kind of starts out, Sean, as you personally finding a path to recovery for you. So let's
Yeah.
start by talking about you. Who's Sean Murray? What's your background?
Well, I'm a 34-year retired Department of the Navy employee. I'm a 6YO veteran, 6-year veteran. Uh,
When did you actually retire?
Retired in 2015.
20, so just about 3-4 years ago.
Yeah, three or
Yeah.
4 years ago, a few years ago.
And how old are you now?
I am 60 years old.
So after your retirement, I kind of know part of the story. After your retirement, you moved with your lovely wife to northern Arizona,
Yep.
had a house, little ranch, couple horses, and you had something come up. Tell us about that.
Well, actually, December 7th at 8 o'clock in the morning in 2016, I had a pretty devastating heart attack. Got up to go do horse chores, and the cardiologist said I was one of the luckiest people around because it was called a widowmaker heart attack.
Mm-hmm.
And he says the way it happened, I had a 2 or 3% survival rate. And so I'm one of the 2 or 3% that survived. Basically. And,
So we're lucky to even be having this conversation at all.
Oh yeah, breathing is good.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, it's a lot better than what I had.
So your background, I know that you had in your past you had done some marathon running, so you were a fairly physically fit guy.
Yeah.
And now you're trying to recover from this devastating heart attack that very few people even make it through in the first place. So
yeah, I've run 23 marathons.
mm-hmm.
I was ready. Wanted to do 24, but I never got there. But during this recovery, it was 2 months of basically straight bed rest. Once I got out of the hospital, my hospital was 3.5 weeks of hospital care
Mm-hmm.
before I could start doing any kind of cardiac rehab or anything like that. They honestly didn't think I was going to make it those 2 months. So after those 2 months, they kind of figured I was going to make it.
So now fast forward.
Yeah.
Now we have this thing out there, Vet on the Path.
Yeah.
And what are you going to do when it comes to Vet on the Path? Tell the people what it is that you're about to do coming up in April.
Well, for Vet on the Path came up when I was laying in bed, unable to do anything. You have to, and knowing from my marathon experience, you have to pick a goal. I had to pick something that was so huge that it was so huge that you just couldn't see it happening.
Mm-hmm.
So I kept reaching for it. So far out of reach, I had to reach for it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hike the Pacific Crest Trail.
And
Yeah.
Tell us exactly, because I've been on a lot of trails myself. Tell us what that means. For those, some people might know, but for those of us that don't know, if you're talking about doing the entire trail.
Yeah, I'm going to hike from Campo, California, which is at the Mexican border,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm going to hike all the way essentially to the Canadian border.
And how many miles is that?
Well, like I said, it was a very big goal. You had to reach for something very huge. It's 2,650 miles.
Not your basic hiking trail that you do in an afternoon.
No, it's a multi-month trail,
Mm-hmm.
And all through my cardiac rehab, all through my getting ready, all that was the focus in the back of my mind to do this. And now that I'm actually able to do it, my doctors and everybody else has pretty much signed off on it.
That's actually an important thing I wanted to ask you about. So there's been some time since this heart attack happened, your medical condition happened. So your doctors are wanting you to do it, encouraging you to do this. They're clearing you to do this?
Well, they're clearing me. One doctor has a little bit of trepidation, but my cardiologist is actually a long distance hiker also.
No kidding.
No kidding.
Oh.
And when I said I'm going to hike the PCT, he knew exactly what I was going to do.
Right.
And he knew, because he's been on it, and he knew the stress levels and stuff, and he was all for it. He said I could do this. He said I was strong enough. I said my heart was good enough for it. glad I could try it. So I'm continuing on. That helped me affirm that I could do this.
Right.
Even though my endurance level was at that time was very low, I could only walk a few miles, and I'm going to do 2,000.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
when does it start? When does it actually start? Because you needed a permit to do this in the first place.
Well, there's actually a limited number of people that can do it. They allow 50 people to start a day, so you have to go on a lottery permit system. And I got my day of April 9th.
April 9th of 2019
April
is
9th,
the kickoff date.
Is my kickoff date. I fly into San Diego on April 8th, and I have a ride basically to the start. And once I get there, I kick it off on April 9th.
All right.
I start hiking, hopefully at least 10 miles a day, and hopefully bring it up to 20 or 25.
And what do you think your potential end date is going to be to complete this?
Realistically, third week in September is probably when I'm finishing.
I'm guessing this isn't a cheap thing to stock up for and be ready for. It takes a significant amount of money.
It does. The average gear, backpack and gear that everybody uses, it costs for the lightweight stuff that you're going to be able to use. You're looking at $1,500, $2,000 just for the stuff you're going to put in your backpack.
Wow.
Just for that. And then as you're hiking along, there's towns, your resupplies, you have to, go to grocery stores, you have to resupply your food. You can only hike so long before you got to take a break. For me, because of my heart, it's recommended like 1 day out of 7 at least. Take a break in a hotel or
take a rest day.
Take a few rest days. And then, a hotel's $80 to $150 to $200 a night, depending on the location. They estimate, everybody who's hiked this before estimates the average cost is $800 to $900 a month per person on the trail.
Okay.
Me, because I'm going to need probably a little extra hotel room, a little bit extra
rest,
medical rest, basically rest, is probably going to be $1,100 to $1,200.
Okay.
And I'm trying to be safe with that. I started Vet on the Path, and when I first thought of it, it was purely personal. I wanted it for me. I wanted to be able to go do the things I needed to do. I found out that I could sit in an easy chair for the rest of my life, or I could be hiking on a trail or doing anything else, and these stints could occlude. They could go. I'm 4 minutes away from not being here. Anywhere. Whether I'm sitting in a chair or not. I'm not going to sit in a chair. I'm going to go.
And you want to see that same thing for other veterans as well?
Yeah, and it morphed into that because as I was on some social medias, I talked to a few vets who were like, man, I wish I could have done that, or I was on the trail, I was on the PCT, and I ran out of funds, or I needed a new sleeping bag and I couldn't get one, so I had to leave everywhere.
We're both veterans, and when you were in, as I recall, you were deployed once or twice.
A few times.
A few times, as was I, as was so many other people in our lives that are deployed veterans, combat veterans.
Yeah.
And we know both physically and mentally people that have been through way worse than we have, catastrophic things. So
that led me into finding Vet on the Path and try to expand it to more than just me.
So, in closing, if you're out there listening to this and we want to help you on your path and allow you to continue to help other veterans that may need some assistance on their path, where do we tell the people to go?
Yeah, I got the GoFundMe page of Vet on the Path. I have an Instagram account of Vet on the Path, and I have it linked to a Facebook page of Vet on the Path. And I'm going to try to put updated videos, the gear videos that I have, what kind of gear I'm taking.
Just talking about you and I talking about the gear alone and how important everything is on a hike of this a journey. It's not even a hike, a journey of this magnitude was interesting, and I actually look forward to getting some of the gear reviews from you before you go, and probably get some from the trail as well, maybe, if it's possible.
Well, I'm going to try to update on the trail and show some vets, maybe some vets that are maybe can't get out,
Mm-hmm.
maybe show some videos that maybe inspire them to go do some day hikes, get out and do something, get out and see something.
Awesome.
I'm going to be going through the entire Eastern Sierras. I'm going to be going through some really breathtaking areas. If I get there,
Mm-hmm.
one thing I should note is there's an 80% attrition rate on this hike. So 8 out of 10 people fail to make it through this hike.
Well, I'll tell you what, Sean, in the couple of years that I've known you, I'm feeling pretty confident recovering from this heart attack, and the good friend you've been to everyone you know here in Northern Arizona.
Yeah.
I think you got a pretty darn good chance of getting through it. So
Yeah, I appreciate
we'll
that.
put the information for the GoFundMe page and the other social media stuff so people can keep track of you. We'll come back and do some more videos, and we'll see some more from you. But
Hey,
good luck, brother. I
thank
think
you,
you're
man.
going to make
Appreciate
it.
it.